Good afternoon, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news, bits, rumors, ins and outs, anything and everything pro wrestling. Today we cover this past Monday's WWE Power to the People 3-hour Raw. And let me just open the show by saying it was not a 3-hour show. For those of us who have DVR and can fast forward live TV, if you've noticed, it was an hour and 4 minutes in commercials. But we'll discuss that at the end. But let me pull my notes up here. And in regards to ratings, I wanted to get the recap out of the way. But I will pull them up while we're on here, hopefully.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll pay you.
3-hour Raw live event, Power to the People, live from Baltimore, Maryland. Just outside Washington, D.C., where the night before Capital Punishment happened. The show opens with CM Punk opening the show, demanding that since he defeated Rey Mysterio last night at Capital Punishment, and with his win over John Cena the week before, he is by default the number one contender for the WWE title. He goes on to demand that the Raw general manager send an email confirming that he did in fact earn this spot and refuses to leave the ring until it happens. Moments later, the GM replies and asks CM Punk to leave the ring. Punk refuses until his match is announced and says he doesn't want it right away. Instead, he wants it in his hometown and location for Money in the Bank, which is July 17, 2011, where for the last 2 straight years, Punk has won Money in the Bank. With Punk refusing to leave the ring and instead lays down to make snow angels, the GM says he was going to name Punk the number one contender by the end of the show. But since Punk didn't follow his instructions, he'll now have to earn the contendership spot in a 3-way match. CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio versus Alberto Del Rio. An angry Punk accepts his match, which will occur later in the evening. And we move on to your first match of the night. Up first, the WWE Universe makes a Divas title match involving champ Brie Bella versus Kelly Kelly. After a brief match, Kelly Kelly emerges your new Divas champion, and it is her first Divas title. She takes the time to thank the fans for their voting and promises to make the fans proud as their new champ. Match 2 opens up, Mason Ryan versus Evan Bourne. The match lasted 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Ryan, at the time, received 51% of the fan vote. Sin Cara scored 30, and Swagger had 19%. The live crowd booed. Bourne used his quickness to dodge Ryan during the opening seconds of the match. And your winner of that match was Mason Ryan. Match 3, Kane beat Mark Henry by disqualification in an arm wrestling challenge. The voting results were 52% for arm wrestling match, 35% for an over-the-top rope match, and 13% for a body slam match. Kane started to gain control of the arm wrestling match, but Henry punched him for the DQ. Henry beat up Kane afterwards and slammed him through the announcer's table. Henry yelled a lot at ringside, saying that if I don't get respect, no one will get respect for, quote, as long as I'm doing this. I just hope it's not extremely long because, well, it's Mark Henry. Your fourth match, feeling cheated with his loss to Dolph Ziggler at Capital Punishment for the United States Championship match, Kofi Kingston used his rematch clause to try and regain what was once his. The fans decide that his match will be a 2 out of 3 falls match. Right off the bat, Ziggler secures the first fall, and it does not look good for Kingston at this point. Moments later, Kingston ties it up with his own pinfall over Ziggler. With pinfalls tied, it's a sudden death rules for both men at this point. After a very good exchange where at the end looked as if Kofi Kingston would win after a powerful trouble in paradise outside the ring, Kingston dragged a lifeless Ziggler back into the ring for a pinfall, but Ziggler kicked out at 2. Ziggler feels cornered and decides that a DQ may not be a win for him, but would still allow him to retain the United States Championship. And remember, championships only exchange hands via pinfall or submission. Ziggler goes to the outside and grabs a mic from an announcer. Kingston tries to follow up his offensive when Ziggler turns around and clocks Kingston with the microphone. The ref calls for the bell, and Kofi Kingston is your winner by disqualification, but does not leave with the United States title as he hoped. Your next match, CM Punk versus Alberto Del Rio versus Rey Mysterio in a triple threat falls count anywhere match in 11 minutes and 35 seconds while CM Punk won that match to become the number one contender for the WWE Championship. Falls count anywhere received 66%, no disqualification received 23%, and submissions received 11%. Punk performed the sunset flip powerbomb on Del Rio off the apron and to the floor for a near fall. Mysterio dove onto Punk and got a near fall. The trio took turns on the offensive after the break. Good rapid fire action with the momentum shifting frequently. Late in the match, Del Rio knocked Punk to ringside with a kick. Mysterio hit a 619 on Del Rio and followed up with a top rope splash. Punk ran in and threw Mysterio under the bottom rope and into the ring post. Punk covered Del Rio and scored the pin to become the number one contender. Next up is your match with Daniel Bryan versus Cody Rhodes. Daniel Bryan beat Cody Rhodes in a no countout match at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. The voting results were 51% for no countouts, 43% for a paper bag match, and 6% for a Colliagate rules match. Cody's crew handed out paper bags to some lucky fans in the crowd. Late in the match, Cody had Bryan pinned with an inside cradle, but Bryan reversed it and got the win. Bryan had Rhodes in the label lock after the match, but Ted DiBiase hit the ring and attacked him. Cody hit the Alabama Slam on Bryan. Booker called it the Sidewalk Slam, and Cole openly mocked him. Cody followed up with a Crossroads. DiBiase put a bag on Bryan's head, and they left him lying. Next up, we get the WWE Did You Know? And this is one of the stupidest Did You Know things. So listen to this and tell me if you agree or disagree. We get the Did You Know graphic. Boasted that WWE has more Twitter followers than Microsoft, Pepsi, Coke, Disney, Nickelodeon, etc. The announcers recap several key moments from the show. I guess the WWE would have more followers as people tend to follow actual things rather than cheeseburgers and sodas. But that's just me. Next, we're left with a dance-off, which I could have skipped, but then I wouldn't have been able to give you a proper account of the action. Matt Striker stood in the ring, with Vicky Guerrero, who claimed she took 15 years of dance training and is an expert of exotic dancing. That just sent chills down my spine. That and her new cougar necklace. She's anything but. But good. I'm not going to argue with her heat. I'm just saying. And the comments that I believe it was Capital Punishment. Cole made the needless comment. I thought that Vicky's on a diet, and this all started over fat jokes. I mean, she's annoying, but that's her character. But she's not a big woman, so this is just wrong on the part of WWE to point that out. Even if it's behind the scenes and has nothing to do with the storyline, it served no purpose. The fans could care less whether or not Vicky Guerrero is on a diet. Can you imagine how many people at Jenny Craig probably hear, "Excuse me? Excuse me?" Anyway, claims she's an expert of exotic dancing and other forms of dance. She said her old stage name was Peaches. That was great. She delivered a variation of Sable's old catchphrases. She delivered a variation of Sable's old catchphrase. She danced and then kissed Stryker. The voting for the dance contest went 47% Cole, 39% Jerry Lawler, and the one guy that could sort of dance, Booker T, only received 14% of the fan vote. Cole entered the ring and told the fans to sit back and enjoy perfection. Cole did several dance moves to Booze and then did a spinneroonie that only Evan Bourne would have been impressed by. Stryker left it up to the fans. Vicky had more boos, and Cole even had some cheers. Stryker gave it to Cole for having the loudest boos. Vicky slapped Cole. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't think so, though. I guess not. I guess it went a little faster than we thought it was going to, because I kid you not, folks. It was a 3-hour fan choice live event, and if they weren't dragging out the voting, they dragged out the commercials. This is by far one of the worst shows commercial-wise for how much money WWE has to spend an hour. Literally, go back, and anyone who has DVR, go back and record, and your DVR will show you just how much time you've spent fast-forwarding commercials. It was a 3-hour event with an hour and 4 minutes of solid just commercials. So you got an hour and 56 minutes of wrestling, and the rest was commercials. Great job, WWE. Next up is your main event: John Cena, Randy Orton, and Alex Riley beat Christian, R-Truth, and The Miz in a 6-man elimination tag match in 19 minutes and 50 seconds. Cena and Miz started the match. Cole and Booker spent the first part of the match bickering. Vince must be tired of Booker's horrible work, as Cole has been all over him tonight. Christian took out Riley with a skull-crushing finale from behind and pinned him at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. We go to commercial break and then come back live. The heels still had the one-man advantage and were working over Orton. He made a hot tag to Cena, who was roughing up the heels, until Miz caught him with the reality check for a near fall. The heels worked over Cena. In the overrun, Cena made his comeback, avoided a skull-crushing finale, and hit the attitude adjustment on Miz before pinning him at 16 minutes and 5 seconds of wrestling. Orton eliminated Truth with an RKO at 18 minutes and 40 seconds. Christian ran in and speared Orton and then pinned him, as Christian was boasting that he should be WWE champion, Cena tried to pick him up for an attitude adjustment. Christian got out of the way, but Orton hit him with an RKO. Cena applied the STF and got the submission win. Cena called Orton back into the ring and they shook hands and celebrated. Cena went to ringside and greeted military members to close the show. Now what we'll do right now, before we get into our plugs and segments, is let me pull up my browser here real quick and see if I can't find you guys your ratings, because it's Wednesday and they should not be hard to find, so bear with me for one moment. Do 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 do. Well, apparently I'm having internet issues again, but at least this episode's recorded. Let's get into our particulars. If you'd like to find out more about this show, feel free to visit wrestletalkshow.webs.com. There you can interact with the online forum, pose a question about the pay-per-view, post your opinion on an already pre-existing question, send show-related emails, comments, concerns, topics, anything and everything wrestling, cwecompany@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us both on Facebook and Twitter, both at CWE Company. If you enjoy this video, you can see this video and the other 100 plus videos on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CWE Company. And while you're there, remember to subscribe to our channel and comment on each and every video you happen to watch. Our 1-year anniversary is coming up, so if you want to take the day and refresh, there's plenty of material, bonus episodes. All of those are marked bonus material. A lot of free stuff. We want you to become interactive. Remember to like us on Facebook, like our videos on YouTube, subscribe to us, comment on it, send us feedback, tell us what you think, because without your voice, we're just another reality show or a wrestling review show. But with your voice, you decide what gets put on this. And while you're at the wrestletalkshow.webs.com website, you can click the support the show link and donate as little or as much as you can to us via PayPal. The official PayPal email for Wrestle Talk Show is cwecompany@gmail.com. And again, I am Joshua Zimmerman. Anything donated to the show will go back into the production and operation of the shows. I'm having some internet issues at the time, but later this evening or early this afternoon, I intend on getting logo contest winner and contributor to Wrestle Talk Show, Justin Parentis, on the show to give his review, our back and forth of Capital Punishment, and the 3-hour Power to the People Monday Night Raw. If you like this show, you missed it last night, but every Tuesday night, SmartWrestlingFan.com with host Joe Negron and Dishfan and other rotating hosts do a 3-hour review show of the week in wrestling, which includes any pay-per-views that fall into that week, Raw, SmackDown, Impact, an ROH report, at least, well, I believe that comes in at the very end. It's pre-recorded, but ROH and much, much more. Visit ProWrestling.net with Jason Powell. Every week he does a free 45-minute free audio version where he either covers the most recent Raw, SmackDown, Impact, or pay-per-view and get his insight. And finally, our friends at the PW Torch, Wade Keller and James Codwell, pwtorch.com. They do a daily Monday through Friday hour-long live cast, which I believe, like I said in the last video, they went back to their normal time slot because Tough Enough no longer interferes with it. But make sure to double check pwtorch.com. And I believe the tentative, the reinstated time slot is 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern. It's a call-in show. It's an email show, another interactive show. They're both great guys. And while you're on pwtorch.com, these guys seem to cover wrestling by the minute. But until further ado, folks, I will post the ratings since my... Let me just double check before we sign off here. Okay. Yeah, the internet, I apologize, folks, is still up, but we pre-recorded this, and hopefully when we go to post it, I will be able to put the updates onto Facebook. So be sure, again, facebook.com/CWE Company, twitter.com/CWE Company. And until next time, guys, we will see you Friday. I want to say Friday morning to cover Impact, but I might just wait till Saturday and bring you Impact and SmackDown at the same time. And if for some reason my connection doesn't update itself today, I'll take that time to just give you the whole week's worth of ratings, because SmackDown, Impact's usually out by Friday afternoon. SmackDown's usually, their ratings report comes in Saturday morning, mid-Saturday afternoon. So stay tuned. We thank you for your viewership. Have an excellent afternoon.